Okay, what we got here today is something I think is really special. I happened to dig out some old powerlifting films that I always hung on to them. I always thought these are interesting. And once I found them and dug into them, I came up with something that I think is really has really something special. Okay, and what I'm going to do is show you these films, and then we're going to kind of go. Then I'll show it a couple times, and then we'll go over it to kind of dissect the action and stuff like that. But the amazing thing about this is a film about one lift, about Dave Waddington from Sandusky, Ohio, 1980, set a world squat record of 9:55. And I've got a film of that, and that was done at a meet in Findlay, Ohio, that had become quite famous and really a high-powered meet with a lot of top lifters in it. And that meet was called the Bob Moon Memorial. And I had known this guy, who Bob Moon was a big bodybuilder, a powerful guy at the Findlay Y, and he got killed in a car wreck. He was probably 24 or 25 at the time. So they started this Bob Moon Memorial powerlifting meet. Well, it started in the basement of the Y, but I think the second or third year they had it, a guy from Dayton came up who was world champion, Larry Pacifico. And once he started coming, he liked what was going on there. He liked the crowds. It was a nice atmosphere. They just held it in a nice gym, and he kept coming. And then he contacted a lot of his friends, one of whom was a guy named Don Reinhardt from New York State. And Don Reinhardt was at that time late 70s, or no, mid-70s, about 76. Don Reinhardt was the reigning super heavyweight champ, and in 76 he came to Findlay and set a super heavyweight squat record of 9:34. Well, the film I've got is a 1980 film of Dave Waddington trying a 955-pound squat at the Bob Moon Memorial. And one of the amazing things of the film is, once we get to dissecting things and slowing things down and stuff, the amazing number of big stars that were at that meet watching or participating. And you start saying names like Roger Eastep, George Crawford, Steve Wilson, Larry Pacifico, guys like that, the older people who know about the history of powerlifting, their ears start perking up. And aside from that, I think the film has some really some subtle characteristics that's all its own that makes it very exciting. And I just want to show it to you, and then we'll break it down. And so we're talking about a film of basically that one lift. So we'll quit talking and get to it. Hey, I'll tell you one thing. This is a tumbadora, and I call this a manly drum. And it sounds like a bass guitar when you hit that bass note. That's fun.
by any man, and his name's Dave, and he's wild and crazy, if you ask me. Boy, listen to this crowd. Sure won't want to be around those weights. I don't want to be around them. That's what I was trying to say. Oh boy, 955. And here he goes. Down. And he broke. He's coming up. He's doing it. Yeah. He did it. Steve Wilson here at 755 pounds. This guy's doing 955, never done by any man, and his name's Dave, and he's wild and crazy, if you ask me. Boy, listen to this crowd. Sure won't want to be around those weights. I don't want to be around them. That's what I was trying to say. Oh boy, 955. And here he goes. Down. And he broke. He's coming up. He's doing it. Yeah. He did it.
Okay, now we're going to kind of dissect this thing here, this film I took in 1980. You have to remember at the time, I was part of the problem with it turning on and off and everything is I was sitting in this side view, and right here, okay, I'm sitting in this side view, and as the weights get heavier, I had a good view otherwise, but once the spotters started gathering around, 2 on each side of the platform over here, you couldn't see any kind of depth or anything. You couldn't see a face, you couldn't see a depth, you couldn't see anything. So I knew I had Steve Wilson here, who is from Sandusky, Ohio, one of the best built power lifters that's ever been produced anywhere. And I wanted to get a picture of Steve, and these come out pretty good. It was a waste to try to get his squats because you just couldn't see anything with the spotters, but I wanted to get this here picture of his the massive arms that he had. They were just about as big as his legs. And there's somebody takes a flash picture here that just illuminates everything, and let's see if we can get to that thing. And anyway, I just get a big charge of seeing this arm of Steve Wilson, seeing him get ready, get his belt on, and it's kind of he's kind of like the opening group for Waddington's lift here. There's that flash that somebody took, and Steve Wilson getting himself ready to go. And Sandusky has had a really good bunch of lifters then. There was Cleveland. Between Toledo and Cleveland is Sandusky, and they just had, well, that's where Dave Waddington trained at, and they just had, for a small town, they had a heck of a group of lifters out there. And you're looking at one of the best. I think Steve Wilson won a national championship there. And he's been famous for other things and on the cover of Powerlifting USA and everything. So let's just get on with it here and get on to the next scene. That is one hellish arm, I gotta tell you. Nice guy Steve Wilson was, really quiet. Never hardly heard him say nothing. Okay, now we got Waddington getting ready here for his 955, and what you got is, okay, let's just get things going here. You got a couple of lifters here that are interesting to point out. This is, right over here is Jack Wilson. Now he's from southern, him and this guy here, Roger Estep, used to train down at Ohio University in Athens, Ohio. Well, at this time they ended up training with the Sandusky bunch. Jack Wilson, I think, was like second in senior nationals one year or something. I think about the same thing for Roger Estep. Roger Estep was considering a bodybuilding career then at that time because people were in his ear telling him he was the best built power lifter they ever saw. So he's considering that, and as you can see, he's a kind of a thick guy. Then you got Waddington here, and now this is first time I saw Dave Waddington was 1973, and he was kind of just a big guy, nothing, you know, a lot of roundness to him and everything else. But then by 1980, he had built himself up into he had quite a physique, an athletic physique for that super heavy. And at this time, about 1980, now Waddington is going to try this 955 here. Bill Kazmaier had just kind of come on the scene as like the top dog. He had finally made it to being the senior national champ, but I think Bill Kazmaier at that time, his best squat was around 850, and Waddington's trying this 955 here. So I'm looking at this as, I always look at this film and think it's the day he became the king, because there's nothing more exciting in powerlifting, I think, than that super heavyweight squat world record. Okay, let's get it on here a little bit, see what else is going on.
This guy's doing 955.
Oh yeah, and my I had a little microphone here on this. This was a Super 8 movie film camera, and I had a little microphone on it, and a girl named Tina Martini, local kid, knew a lot about powerlifting. She was the girlfriend of my training partner, so she's sitting there doing the commentary, but it's pretty good, adds to the excitement.
He's wild and crazy, if you ask me.
And I like this about Waddington, just he was never too wild and crazy. A little bit, but not too much. And, you know, he wasn't a screamer or a yeller when he got ready to lift. He just did it. Like right here. I like this shot right here. You know, here you got a guy trying, he's going to get set up to attempt this world record. And he's not getting beat on by everybody else and screaming and yelling. He's just getting himself together. Anyway, I just like that shot. Plus it shows the athleticism of a guy like that. That's a guy probably goes about 320 right there. Okay. And this part, I didn't expect to be able to see anything with the camera once these spotters moved in here. And you couldn't. When Waddington sets up this weight with these spotters in here, you can't see a thing except the weight. Can't see his face, can't see his legs or anything. But when he started squatting, a little window broke right in here. So you could just catch the depth of how deep he was. And that's what makes the film a success, I think. Also, you got to notice the head judge. There's a judge coming here that's going to take a seat in a second. That's George Crawford. He's hustling over to take his seat. But the head judge, which is out here, and you just barely see him, is a guy named Tony Fitton from England. And Tony Fitton was a world competitor and a good one. And he had come over here at this time and was now in the United States. And the thing about Tony Fitton, okay, so they get international judges in the seats to, call this squat and fit. You just got to notice how long Tony Fitton makes Dave Waddington stand out there with that bar to get that thing still before he gives the squat signal. I just can't believe how long it took him. That's the amazing thing about this lift, is how long Dave Waddington held that thing out there, held his concentration. When he got the squat call, boom, down he was. And, the results, it all speaks for itself.
Sure wouldn't want to be around those weights. I don't want to be around them. That's what I was trying to say.
Watch how long he holds
Oh
him.
boy, 955. And here he goes.
And there, right there, is where the window broke. So that I could finally get a look at his depth. And that was beautiful for me. Let's go down here a little bit. There you got the camera lighting it up. But that's a pretty good depth there for a 955-pound squat. The way I look at it is, with his suit tightening everything up, his crease is probably down in here about. And as you can see, there's the top of his thigh. But I bet the crease in his leg is down in here. Something like that. But looked like a good squat to me.
Coming up, he's doing it. We did it.
Now we're going to run all this stuff back and look at it one more time. I'll kind of pick out some names and faces for you in here, and go over some of the people that were standing there while this was happening, which it still amazes me how
Steve Wilson here at 755 pounds. This guy's doing 955, never done by any man, and his name's Dave, and he's wild and crazy.
So just going over a few names. This is Jack Wilson here. Terrific lifter. About 181 pounder at that time, I think. Okay. Okay. Right over here You got George Crawford just getting into his chair. He's international referee, world champ, 165 pounder, squat 600 something. Tremendous lifter. Let's see who you got here. You also got somewhere over here is Larry Pacifico. I wouldn't be surprised if that's him at the microphone there. I believe that is. And you'll see him come out and congratulate Dave after the lift. Then the head judge will appear, Tony Fitton out here. Right back here, in between there, that face is the face of Roger Estep. He'll show himself once more in there with... Okay, we're going a little slow motion here, so let's see if we can... There gets George over on the left, getting settled into his chair. There's Roger Estep on the right there in the white shirt. You can just, he kind of exudes power. Yep, that's Pacifico on the microphone by the table back there. Okay. What gets this up now? He's waiting for Tony Fitton's signal. I guess he is waiting for those weights to keep moving. I don't even think they do anything like that now. But geez, I just cannot believe how long he held that there. Yeah, the back spotter backs away from the whole thing. Now they just got spotters just hanging all over guys and stuff. Now back then they gave them a little room.
And here he goes. Down. And he broke. He's coming up. He's doing it. Yeah.
Now right there, you got Waddington talking to Tony Fitton, the head judge. Back here you got George Crawford. He's coming up to congratulate Waddington. And then back here you got Larry Pacifico coming up from behind the table to, and he actually comes up and kisses Waddington. So that's kind of interesting. Let's just play along and then see what that looks like. Okay. Now here you got Pacifico coming up here, and you can watch him kiss Waddington.
He did it.
Okay, we're going to give it one more go around here, and the nice thing about this, in a way, is I really like Waddington's reaction after he does this. It's like he's walking around like, well, I just emerged. To me, he just emerged from all these terrific lifters. He like took a leap that raised him for this one day above the best. You got George Crawford, world champ, Larry Pacifico, multi-time world champ, Roger Estep, the best built powerlifting guy or best built guy in powerlifting, and Dave Waddington and Steve Wilson, which is just like a tank. Waddington, just getting that squat up, he just come out like made the statement like. He out-squatted Bill Kazmaier by 100 pounds. I just love his reaction. It wasn't hot dogging or nothing. It was just like, so, I'm elected king, huh? Well, okay, I'll be king. Anyway, let's watch it again, because that sure is fun, I think.
This guy's doing 955, never done by any man, and his name's Dave, and he's wild and crazy, if you ask me. Boy, listen to this crowd. Sure wouldn't want to be around those weights. I don't want to be around them. That's what I was trying to say. Oh boy, 955. And here he goes. Down. And he broke. He's coming up. He's doing it. Yeah. He did it.
Okay, I will run it back one more time, zoom in on it a little just for grins, and give Waddington here another minute in the spotlight. I know later on he competed in a lot of World's Strongest Man contests and things like this, but I just cannot think of a day where somebody was on top of the world like this. Okay.
You're at 755 pounds. This guy's doing 955, never done by any man, and his name's Dave, and he's wild and crazy, if you ask me. Boy, listen to this crowd. Sure wouldn't want to be around those weights. I don't want to be around them. That's what I was trying to say. Oh boy, 955. And here he goes. Down. And he broke. He's coming up. He's doing it. Yeah. He did it.
Well, anyway, that was, I've got some number of old films from that meet over the years, and some of the terrific lifters that were in it when we first started out and went to one of the first Bob Moon meets was 1973, and it just got better and better, and bigger stars were coming. And like I say, 2 years before Waddington's big squat, Don Reinhardt had set a world squat record at super heavy at 934 pounds, and I didn't get a film of that one, but I have some other big stars in there, and we'll get to those if you know, in the near future I'll be showing those. But one thing about that Bob Moon Memorial Powerlifting meet in Findlay, Ohio was just getting in that and getting started, and then just even being out there with those big stars, it just was an awesome feeling, I thought. One of my goals was always like, I wanted to be in 25 Bob Moon meets in a row. That was my thing. 25 years of it, I wanted to be there every time. And it was just electric, and it was kind of I think about a maybe 15-year span there. I think they ran 15 or 16 of them before it became too big, and they had to move it to University of Findlay gym. They had to move it to Findlay High School gym, and it got like beyond what the YMCA could, you know, handle, and so they finally kind of dropped it. But boy, in its heyday, it was just something, and it kept you going. We used to train for that thing in the weight room in the basement of that YMCA where that meet was held, and we were like, there'd be 7 or 8 guys from Findlay in there going at it all the time, dedicated as can be. You learned a lot, and you saw what mental toughness was, that's for sure. I learned mental toughness from a lot of those guys, and boy, it was a good time. It taught you how to, I'm not going to say be tough. It didn't teach you that. What it taught you was how to be disciplined, how to really go for a goal, and you know, it was it's a lot of intangibles. You picked up a lot of things that were going to carry on later in your lifting, and I just hope you enjoy it. I've got some more stuff, and we'll get to that pretty soon. There's other good films and stuff I took at that thing, and you know, it was. And one time I got lucky at one of those, and won a weight class at one of those meets, and you know, combination of luck and you know, hard work and just having the guts to enter. And you know, I remember an older guy one time telling me, he goes, "You'll never win a contest you don't have the guts to enter." So we'll see you soon.